Welcome to This Week in Baseball with Loro, Antonio, and Ben Curse. On today's episode, we're talking about our reaction to Dave Roberts signing a 3-year extension until the 2025 season. We also have news from the Toronto Blue Jays. We also have news from the New York Yankees. And we have more and more topics to talk about here. So, Ben, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing great. But let's start with some news to talk about here with baseball. So what's your thoughts on Randall Grichuk being traded to the Colorado Rockies? And the Blue Jays got Raimel Tapia and prospects in return. What do you think about this trade? And do you think that Grichuk was kind of the odd man out in Toronto?
Yeah, that was an interesting trade. I didn't really get the chance to kind of look at that trade just kind of one-on-one and take it in, but Grichuk has been a really good player for them. And I do think that, Tapia has been kind of an underrated player from Colorado. He essentially is a speedster kind of early in the lineup. You could put him anywhere. So I think that the Blue Jays have a pretty good player in return for Grichuk, but Grichuk was a player that did a pretty good job against the Red Sox too. So I'm also not going to, lose a whole lot of sleep for him moving on. So he did a lot of good damage against the Yankees, which was kind of nice. But no, it was a good, kind of fair trade overall.
Yeah, now he's in a lineup with Chris Bryant, Charlie Blackmon, and Chris Bryant. But with him in the lineup for the Rockies, do you think that the Rockies are still going to be – do you think that it makes the Colorado Rockies offense look dangerous with that lineup with Grichuk, Bryant, Blackmon, and Cron?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how things go, man. You're talking about the Rockies?
Yeah, I'm talking about the Rockies when it comes to with Grichuk in the lineup. His bat's going to be very good for Coors Field.
Yeah. Grichuk had a homer the other day. The Rockies still have a lot of work to do. That's to be fair. They still have a lot of work to do, but we'll kind of see in terms of how things, kind of shape up in that division. I mean, I just think that there's a lot of work for them to do.
And what about the Blue Jays' sake? What are they going to get in Raimel Tapia? He's a left-handed bat that the Blue Jays need to balance their lineup, and he's going to bring speed and defense to that lineup too.
Definitely.
So you basically put Tapia in center field. That's going to move George Springer to right, and Teoscar Hernandez is going to be the DH.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the Toronto Blue Jays with Tapia, he's going to bring speed. He's going to hit the ball for contact, but really he's not going to be the guy that's going to hit leadoff. He's going to be a guy that's going to hit ninth in the lineup, though.
Mm-hmm.
So you're basically still expect to have George Springer at the top of the lineup, though.
Agreed.
So I kind of have this take here, what I think the Rockies lineup will look like with Randall Grichuk. I have Randall Grichuk being the leadoff hitter for the Rockies, and he plays center field.
Mm-hmm.
And then batting second, I have Ryan McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
Hitting third, I have CJ Cron.
Yep.
And then I have Charlie Blackmon hitting fourth, and Chris Bryant hitting fifth, and then Sam Hilliard hitting sixth, and then Brendan Rodgers hitting seventh, and then Elias Diaz hitting eighth, and then Jose Iglesias hitting ninth.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Rockies have a very young team. They have some guys that hit out of the park, but it's obviously they're in a really tough division. So between the Dodgers, the Padres, not the Diamondbacks and the Rockies, but
the Diamondbacks, the Dodgers, who they played today in spring training, they lost to them, but it's only spring training though.
Yeah.
So for my lineup for the Blue Jays, I have Teoscar Hernandez as the DH. George Springer moves from center to right, and then Lourdes Gurriel Jr. in left. Mm-hmm. And then Tapia in center. So I have George Springer leading off in right field. Then I have Kevin Biggio batting second and playing second base.
Yep.
Then I have Bo Bichette hitting third.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have Vladimir Guerrero Jr. as the cleanup hitter.
Yeah.
And then Teoscar Hernandez will hit fifth. And then Lourdes Gurriel Jr. will hit sixth. Then I have Matt Chapman hitting seventh.
Mm-hmm.
And then it says Alejandro Kirk's the DH. So he's going to hit eighth in my project. I have Teoscar Hernandez hitting fifth. And then hitting eighth, I have Danny Jansen, the catcher.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ramel Tapia hitting ninth.
Yep.
So do you have that same lineup too for the Blue Jays?
Well, the Blue Jays lineup on.
No, I the reason why I Biggio second, I want that right-left balance. And then I have Bo Bichette hitting third.
I'm going to look at the Fangraphs lineup as of right now. So.
And then after that, then we'll talk a little bit about the New York Yankees and Aaron Judge.
Yeah, for sure.
And I have some hot takes for you about the Yankees too when it comes to Gleyber, Torres, Connor Falefa, where I have them in the lineup and all that.
Yep. All right, so George Springer leading off. I have Bo Bichette at 2, Vlad at 3, Teoscar hitting 4th, Gurriel Jr. 5th, Chapman 6, Alejandro Kirk at 7. Let's see, Kevin Biggio 8 and Danny Jansen 9. And then their bench would have Reese McGuire, Greg Bird, Espinal, and Tapia.
Tapia should start because I think that he plays good defense in center field, but he can also hit too.
Yeah, I mean, they have in their projected lineup on Fangraphs, they have Hernandez, Springer, and Gurriel. And I think that Gurriel is probably a little bit better overall hitter-wise than Tapia.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. But let's talk about the New York Yankees for a minute. Brian Cashman said that he's going to present Aaron Judge with a massive contract offer prior to opening day. Do you think he's going to accept it?
I do. Yeah, no, I think that Aaron Judge is a Yankee for life. I personally think that this is kind of all leverage right now. I think that Cashman is going to do really all in his power to give him all the money, even though that he hasn't really done a whole lot of that this offseason. You know, not paying a lot for top guys like Freeman and Correa and Story, but I think that Judge is kind of their key cornerstone, and shame on the Yankees if they decide to walk away and not pay Judge the money that he wants. So, yeah, I mean, that's obviously I think their biggest plans right now is to keep essentially their biggest superstar. You kind of look at the Yankees for many seasons, it was Derek Jeter. He was kind of the main guy. Tickets would be because of Jeter, and people would go to see the Yankees because of Jeter. But obviously there's other great players in the Yankees on the Jeter teams. But you look at the Yankees kind of now, and who's kind of the headline big time guy that people want to go see with all the jerseys and stuff like that, and that's Aaron Judge. The Judge corner, whatever you're saying, right field, the monster home runs that he'll hit in New York, the home runs that he'll hit, that just will wow people. The teammate he is as a Red Sox fan, I think he's a very underrated, good teammate. He doesn't really say a whole lot, to get people under their skin. I mean, he did like the New York thing, which was kind of cheesy against the Red Sox, and glad to be able to, take that to our advantage, the playoffs, which is amazing. But, it's obviously it's going to definitely take some time. I really do think that it's going to take some time, and, we'll see. We'll see how things go for sure.
But I'm going to tell you some hot takes that I have for the New York Yankees. I mean, I told you last week I had Gleyber DHing, and I said, I don't think Gleyber should DH because he's got to be playing a position on the field every day. Now that the Yankees have a crowded infield with Donaldson, Connor Falefa, LeMahieu, and Rizzo, and when I saw that LeMahieu would be a bench player. I'm like, that's not going to happen. DJ LeMahieu is a Gold Glove second baseman. He can play wherever the Yankees need him to play, and Gleyber Torres runs very well on the base pad, so I could picture Gleyber Torres in center field.
Yeah, no, Glaber's been hitting really well right now in spring. And as a Red Sox fan, that really scares me. Just because you put him in a deep lineup now, and that's obviously with Donaldson, who I think is going to be a really good player for them. He can stay healthy. Judge, he can do Gallo. I think without the shift now in baseball, that'll help him a lot with his stats. Stanton obviously was really hot, and when he's hot, he's probably their best hitter on their lineup. And Rizzo, I think a lot of people kind of disrespect, Yankee fans kind of, just kind of let go in terms of, oh, yeah, we wanted Olsen or we wanted Freeman. But Rizzo's a really good hitter, right? He obviously had a lot of good seasons over in Chicago for the Cubs. And he might not be the same type of tier as like a Matt Olson or Freeman. But for a great lineup that they have, I mean, Rizzo's a very good piece for them. He plays a very good glove. So I think Yankee fans should be very happy for the guy that the Yankees have, and that's Rizzo. So, and then Connor Falefa is a guy that I think will help them a lot because myself, living in Yankee country, I see a lot of games, sadly, that aren't sometimes Red Sox games, and a lot last couple of seasons, which the Dodgers do a good job of not really doing much because they're very well balanced. But the Yankees, a lot of seasons because they have home run or bust type hitters, right? And
yes, that's kind of the thing with the Yankees. That's why they're called the Bronx Bombers.
But yeah, and it's all obviously awesome to have that, right? To have guys that can hit for power, but it's just so much you can take, right? And it gets to the playoffs, and when it comes to crucial moments, the Yankees led the league almost in hitting in double plays last season. I mean, it was like a record, and striking out. It was either double play, it felt like strikeout or home run. That was really it. And Connor Falefa is a guy that might not wow people per se, but he's a guy that's going to put the ball in play. And I think that's a huge reason why he definitely could be a leadoff hitter for them because if you're the leadoff hitter in baseball, you need to be the table setter, right? You don't have to hit, always the home run ball. You can for sure kind of do what you can to, get on base and steal a bit. It all really is a big thing kind of, with the leadoff spot. So,
do you have any thoughts on my take on Gleyber Torres playing center field? I think that he should play center field.
I disagree, Loro. I mean, I love the entertainment for that, but Gleyber is very. I think
the reason why I say that is because I heard someone say that they would move Aaron Judge to center field, put Giancarlo in right, and I'm like, Giancarlo gets hurt when he makes a play in the outfield. He's better as a DH.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no way you're going to bench Gleyber Torres. You gotta need to put him in the lineup every day because of his bat. And I want Gleyber to play center field for obvious reasons. He has the speed to play it. He runs well, and you got to keep his bat in the lineup.
I mean, I get that you want his bat in the lineup, and I would, the way that he's been hitting, but I disagree actually with that. In terms of playing in the outfield, I think that it's just an injury waiting to happen. And personally, I think that it'll be a lot better for the
because I mean Aaron Hicks I like Aaron Hicks though, but Aaron Hicks's days as a starter are numbered.
Yeah, but Hicks has for sure kind of shown the past to play outfield, right? I'd rather have somebody that has proven to me that they can play in the outfield before and not try to have a guy that can just plug and play, at least kind of, see if they can fit out there, especially during the opening day. You want to put your best defense out in the back for sure. The Red Sox have had problems with this, and it obviously hasn't been as, according to plan or at least looks great on paper. I think personally that the Yankees are going to have this. They're going to have Connor Falefa at short. They're going to have Gleyber at second. DJ LeMahieu maybe at third. Actually, no.
Yeah, you're going to start Josh Donaldson at third.
Yeah, so no, you definitely make a good point, Loro.
The reason why I want Torres playing center field is because I want to keep DJ LeMahieu in the lineup every day.
Yeah, no, it's a very it's a very big question, right? I'll be curious to see what they do. I mean, essentially, kind of your locks are a catcher, first
Yeah,
base is gonna be
I mean,
all.
here's the thing: what the Yankees are going to do at catcher. Higashioka is going to be starting. I don't know how many starts he's going to get. You're going to see Higashioka in the lineup for sure when Garrett Cole's on the mound.
Yeah, no, they had him catching Cole when Gary Sanchez was there.
And Ben Rolvert, who they got
Yeah,
from the Gary Sanchez trade, he's probably going to start against righties.
yeah, but he's currently injured right now, so we'll see. Things
But
might change.
I mean, the thing was, I didn't think the Yankees didn't need to trade Gary Sanchez. I think Gary Sanchez was good for their offense, but the thing with Gary Sanchez is he cannot defend behind the plate.
Yeah, and he took up a huge salary for them. So personally, I think it was a win for the Yankees because yes, he could hit it out of the park, but they have so many guys that can do that. It kind of ran its course over time. Even though that when the Red Sox played Gary Sanchez, that was one guy that I kind of felt comfortable with in terms of trying to get out because he couldn't really run. So it was either that he hit the ball out or he really kind of struck out. That was kind of really Gary Sanchez for you.
The thing with the Yankees is they were not aggressive enough to get another starter behind Garrett Cole. They're going to have a lot of trust in Luis Severino if he could stay healthy. I think
Right.
the Yankees rotation is going to be good with a healthy Luis Severino.
Right. Now it'll be curious to see. I know it's spring training, but Severino's kind of been a little shaky, just because he's coming off of rest and his injuries that he's had in the past. But yeah, they're
Yeah,
relying
I
on
mean,
him a
besides
lot.
Severino, besides Cole, I think Montgomery's going to be good.
Montgomery is decent. He's not a household name, but he's kind of been in their rotation, does some decent things. I think Luis Heel is kind of their big time pitcher right now, outside of Cole. I mean, Cole right now is the biggest thing is can he pitch
Luis who?
Luis Heel. He's a big time prospect that they have. Electric stuff. Kind of like Tanner Houck for us in a way. Um,
Yeah, the Yankees have a
but
lot of good prospects coming
yep,
in their farm system that is going to be really good. Like
yep,
Oswaldo Cabrera could be good.
yep,
Oswaldo Peraza, who is a shortstop prospect. If Gleyber Torres leaves, then Peraza or Cabrera, I think, will be very good.
exactly.
And they
Yeah, no,
still have Andujar, who Andujar kind of lost his place in the starting lineup since his injury.
definitely.
So, and and also your Boston Red Sox here. I mean, talk about excitement for next week already, Ben. I mean, we're going to be talking about opening day next week, and tell us what your the Boston Red Sox what they have been doing in cat in Grapefruit League play, and heard that they lost to the Twins.
Yeah, no. The Red Sox in spring training. Like I said to you, well, last week, the biggest thing is for them with their health, right? They have to obviously have to stay healthy, get some guys some new looks. Rafael Devers has been pretty good lately. They obviously have to kind of really focus in on Devers and Bogarts for their futures ahead. It's obviously a huge thing kind of lying ahead right now. And I think that
What about this hot take? Garrett Whitelock as your closer.
I would love Whitlock in the closing role, man. I would love it. Personally, I think that they're going to do is kind of do like a little bit of couple things with Whitlock just because he feels like he just go out and just shove all the time, which is great. But I think that Whitlock could be a viable guy in the pen. I think personally that they're going to have Rich Hill, kind of be like a spot starter. He's going to be like your fourth starter, but I think him and Walker kind of be kind of guys in the back end to at least try to get you innings at best, and then try to see if you can kind of like last season, right? They kind of just plug and play some guys. This is obviously why sales injuries is huge because you know what you can from Nate. You know what you can get from him. Pavetta, you're just hoping that he can make the next jump, which I think he can. And then you have Houck, which you hopefully can get through innings, unscathed after the third straight time through the order. He has great stuff. So there's obviously after the three starters, then there's some questions, right? And even with Evaldi and Pavetta, they're not obviously going to be on their A game.
Evaldi's the ace of the Boston Red Sox starting staff. He still has electric stuff.
Oh, it's not even a question. Yeah, Nate's obviously hasn't been the problem. He had some starts here and there where he kind of struggled, but overall, I mean, the guy's just absolute nails. I mean, he goes out and does everything that he can. He's actually kind of made up some good pitches in the spring, some pitches I haven't seen them in before. A couple of really good splitters and some curveballs. So, yeah, he's for sure going to be the ace. I think him and Cole should have a fun matchup, even though I've always wanted to see Cole for the last couple seasons, which has always been a matchup to see. But and then think about this though, right? I think the Red Sox still aren't done trying to get some starters. Whether it's a guy like a Manea or a Montes or just a guy out there just for an arm.
It's the question if Chaim Bloom was going to do it, because Chaim Bloom comes from the Tampa Bay Rays, who don't spend a lot, and Chaim Bloom is looking to just continue to stock up the farm system like Andrew Friedman does with my Dodgers.
Right, but I think that even like a small trade can go a long way, right? I personally think that the Red Sox, I've heard some rumors out there here and there that they could look at a guy like Ramon Laureano from Oakland. He's still out there. I personally would love that just because I personally think that it takes away JD Martinez playing a lot in the outfield, which I would not like to see at all. I personally don't like JD in the outfield. That obviously Cora has said that he's going to play a lot of outfield, which kind of scares me. You really need his bat. You don't want to get him hurt. I've already seen this before with JD, and it's not a pretty sight. So personally, I think that Bradley could go to outfield.
Basically, you don't need to put JD Martinez in right. It looks like that your outfield's pretty much set with Kike, Verdugo, and JBJ.
Right. So they said that when they're going to platoon JD and JBJ. I think Cora was saying that. And I think that kind of scares me. It depends on the ready left situation by pitchers.
So, I would leave JD Martinez as the DH. You don't need to wear his legs out on the outfield. No, he's getting old.
Exactly.
You need him as a hitter.
Right. No, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, especially with Cora kind of seeing the situation. But we'll see how things go really from here. I personally think that it's going to be a really good season for the Red Sox. I'm not really sure kind of how they're obviously in a very good, tough division. And I obviously put in the Midnight Mania and comments on Isaiah's thing last night. I personally think it's the best division in baseball. And that's not even my bias side. I personally think that outside the NL West, probably, even though he thinks the NL East, which the NL East is a very good division. Now, I'm not going to take anything away from that. But the AL East, I say, is the AL Beast, right? You have the Rays, which is a very good ball club. The Red Sox, which were 2 wins away in a rebuilding year last year from going to the World Series. The Yankees are still the Yankees at the end of the day. And the Blue Jays are just absolutely just phenomenal, right? They've added so much from their rotation. Kevin Gausman, Kikuchi, Manoah is going to be up there, getting a lot better. Barrios is still in their rotation. I mean, it's just disgusting how good their team is. Their bullpen is, I think, a little bit shaky, and then you have the Orioles still, which Orioles are the Orioles. And personally, like I said, I would love me some Cedric Mullins to come to Boston at some point in his career, just because I want him to go away from that Orioles team, just because I love him. He's just
I mean, there's players that I want from the Orioles that I want out, but I'm not going to request for every one of them, because here's the thing. I think that the Orioles are going to build their team around Trey Mancini.
And they'll probably build it around Cedric Mullins too. I mean, 2 guys that are extremely talented.
I don't think they should trade John Means, though. They got to build our pitching staff around John Means.
Yeah. I'm going to think of this as a hot take. I personally think that the Red Sox should entertain some calls for Castillo and Mahle at the trade deadline. I really do. If they can kind of build this where they're kind of where they were last in the first half of the season. First half of the season last year, they essentially had no sale. And look what happened. I mean, they just won an absolute torrid run, and I just don't know if they can do that like this past season. But I do think that if they're kind of like in the mix, at least for like 3rd or 4th place, I just don't rule anything out with the Red Sox team. As long as Sale comes back, then you get Paxton, and that obviously adds – I think James Paxton could give you something. Even you don't know how he's been from Tommy John. You have Paxton, you have Houck, you have Evaldi, you have Pivetta, you have Sale. Now you start to kind of feel like, okay, now you don't have to kind of worry about the bullpen being overworked and getting taxed. And obviously you don't have to worry about – maybe you could put Hill and you could kind of put Waka in the pen maybe. Kind of similar to last year, Loro. Remember when they had Garrett Richards and Martin Perez kind of start, and that kind of experiment kind of, blew up in our face for a while. Obviously, what they did was they had Houck in the bullpen, and they had Sale obviously coming back. They brought 2 of those guys in their rotation, and then you saw kind of what their rotation was like. It just kind of went from there, right? It had Sale, Evaldi, Erod. Erod's still a big loss, with this Red Sox rotation.
Well,
I personally think that Erod is going to be a very good piece for for the Tigers, and
yeah, Eduardo Rodriguez is going to be great for the Tigers. I just think that the Red Sox should have not gotten rid of him. But speaking of which, we'll have to talk about this for a little bit here, as opening day is next week. And we're going to talk about this next week as well. Your Red Sox start the regular season next Thursday with your rival New York Yankees next Thursday. And then next Saturday and Sunday, you play 3 with the Yankees to begin the season. And then you play 3 with the Detroit Tigers.
yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
And you're going to be in Boston for the Red Sox home opener on the 15th.
Yeah, I'm really excited. My first time ever for the home as a home opener as a fan. I am planning to go to quite a bit of games this year at Fenway. Probably, I know last year I went to I think 4. So I know for this
and you
season,
get to see Carlos Correa and the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen the Twins before, but I have seen Correa play when he was with the Astros, and obviously that was a lot of fun. That was a long time ago, but
I
this
hope,
should be
I hope you get to sit in the Green Monster.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to be listening to Monster. I like to actually where my tickets were, and I'm going to be in like the third or fourth row in the bleachers, but it's not a terrible seat. It's kind of center field.
You're going to be by the Green Monster.
I'll be kind of between the Monster and like right field.
Yeah, by the bullpens are where sometimes the right fielder will try to jump over the wall.
Really like the bullpen, like center
Which
field.
bullpen? Red Sox bullpen or the Twins bullpen?
Well, at Fenway Park, they have kind of the bullpens right next to each other. Probably more like near the Red Sox, but I'm not really like near the bullpen, right? I'm close to where the bullpen is, but I'm really more close to like where the Monster and the bullpens are kind of in between where they are, right? I'm more near like the triangle, like the deep center field triangle.
You might see Kike Hernandez in center field. You're going to have to send me a picture of him because I miss Kike in Dodger blue. I miss him with my guys.
I'll take some pictures. Home opener should be a lot of fun. Like I said, this is my first time. Definitely going to be a little bit of a pricey trip, but hey, I'm going to
4-game series against the Twins because they play them from the 15th through the 18th because on the 18th they play that 8-10 game because of the Boston thingy.
Yeah, the Boston Marathon. Yeah, it's one of my favorite games, one of my favorite traditions. I hope I can watch it. I know I watched the game last year, and the Red Sox absolutely were great. And I essentially woke up, right, and there was a Red Sox game going on, a real Red Sox game. And, they're having like 5 runs in the first inning. And I was able to celebrate the win, and I essentially was almost done with my lunch. So, I mean, it's always fun to kind of see that game. It's obviously
and then the Red Sox in April kind of looks like this: Twins for 4 at home, Toronto for 3, and then they go to Tampa and Toronto and Baltimore. But you're probably going to have a hard time with the Rays when you play them for the first time.
I'll tell you, we're going to have a hard time with the Rays, Yankees, and the
Toronto.
And Toronto, right? Yeah, and it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. You look at the AFC East kind of with like the Bills and all these. It's kind of the Red Sox here as a fan. It's every single game. You got to put your best effort forward, right? Because you obviously don't want to get down a lot early in these games. These teams are very stacked. The Rays, obviously, we faced this past year in the playoffs. They were a juggernaut. They don't have a lot of household names, but they have guys that can buy in. They play with a lot of confidence well together. Losing Nelson Cruz, I think, is a big loss for them. But
Nelson Cruz is with the Washington Nationals.
Yeah, but the Rays have a lot of great pieces. So Brandon Lau, Wander Franco, obviously, is kind of their.
You said Wander Franco is going to give you nerves.
Yeah, no,
it's how good he is.
It's one of those guys that you would love to have on your team, and if he's not on your team, he plays you all the time. He's just going to drive you crazy, and that's Wander Franco. This for many seasons for me. I mean, you look at for other teams in our division, Yankee fans probably with Devers, and and there's always this one guy that you just think and you look at him like, man, you wish you just had a guy like that. and they just kind of terrorize. He's fun to watch, right? If he doesn't play my team, I'll just kind of look and say, how's Wander Franco doing? He's probably getting a multi-hit game all the time, and look what he's doing. He's just such a good hitter, such a good talent. He plays a lot of energy and a lot of heart. So yeah, like I said, and the Blue Jays, Blue Jays are obviously, they're probably my favorite to win the East this year. I really do.
I'm with you on that, and I think that Tampa Bay will be right behind them because I think that if they get a health, then if Tyler Glasnow could stay healthy, he could really give you innings for that rotation. I think the batting lineup for the Rays is going to look dangerous, scary. I love that Rays lineup. I mean, I love like guys like Franco, Lau, Austin Meadows, Zanino.
Yeah, they were talking about like having Meadows in trade talk, but personally, I think he's going to stick around at this point.
Yeah, the thing with the Rays is they like to trade players that have high value so that they can get more prospects in return.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at projected lineup right now. This is from RotoChamp, which does a pretty good job. It's kind of like Fangraphs. They have Brandon Lowe leading off, Wander Franco batting second, Meadows third, Arozarena fourth, G-Man Choi at fifth, Yandy Diaz sixth.
I love that. I love G-Man Choi.
Yeah,
the Korean monster.
G-Man Choi is always a funny player. Character. Yeah,
he is something. Like G-Man Choi can swing the bat. I love when he runs. I think to me, he's an everyday first baseman.
Yeah, I know. But like I look at a lot of these averages, right? And they have nobody that's 300 average or above. Franco is probably the closest. He's 292, but you look at all the home run guys that they have. I mean, they have at least have in terms of 20 plus home runs, they have Lau who had 34.
And the Rays got Corey Kluber, who's a good low risk signing, who they could try to get healthy.
Yeah, no, they have a lot of good pitchers. That they just kind of they have McClanahan. Obviously, he's their ace. Probably Rasmussen. They probably use. He's done good against the Red
Sox. About Glasnow being really good, but he's still recovering from Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, they did lose a big blow though to their bullpen. Pete Fairbanks just got a report the other day, and he's going to be out for a little while. That's a huge.
Oh my gosh, that's a big blow for the Rays. When if you talk about that bullpen. That Kevin Cash doesn't like to have set roles when it comes to closers. He's kind of a guy that is great with analytics. Mm-hmm. Kevin Cash is a great analytical manager, but his decision making is not that good.
Well, you saw it firsthand with your Dodgers, right?
Yeah, he pulled Blake Snell in the 6th inning.
The guy was dealing, right? And that's I think Blake Snell's last resort.
And now Blake Snell's in my division now. I still get to see him every now and then. But let's talk about Dave Roberts and talk about my Dodgers real quick. So Dave Roberts just got a 3-year extension until the 2025 season, Ben. Mm-hmm. I expected it to happen, Ben, because I've always believed that Dave Roberts was the right person to lead my Dodgers into the future, knowing that he's a former player for the Dodgers, and he's done a great job with this team. And I also knew that he had some type of history when he played for your Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, no, I've loved Dave Roberts. I do. Obviously, helping in 04 ALCS. One of the best signature moments, not only in the Red Sox moment history, but just in baseball. But yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun, and we'll see. We'll see how things go for sure.
Yeah, and do you think that he's the right manager for the Dodgers?
I mean, I've had my kind of my feel with that. My own opinions. Personally, I think that I don't know. It's really kind of hard to see at this point. I really do think that he probably is.
Oh, he is. He's done a great job, but I sometimes don't really like his decision making when it comes to pulling pitchers too soon or too late or something like that. Or talk about pushing the right buttons on who to call out of the bullpen. But with Kenley Jansen gone, now the Dodgers are going to use a closer by committee approach, I think. I mean, I think Blake Treinen's going to get most of the reps at closer. I think he should. I mean, Blake Treinen is a fantastic relief pitcher. He's been a great addition to the Dodgers bullpen, and I don't see the Dodgers bullpen being a problem this year.
Yeah, no. The Dodgers, like I said, they have a ton of great players, right?
Yeah, talk about guys like Gratterall, who I think is going to have a great breakout season out of the bullpen. Um, Dustin May, when he's healthy, I think he's going to be an impact on our rotation. Walker Buehler being opening day starter, and I called it. I wanted that to happen.
To have Walker start opening
Yeah,
day.
I mean, I think he's the ace of the starting staff of the Dodgers already. He's taken over that role since 2018. Clayton Kershaw's not that guy anymore. Clayton Kershaw can still give you innings, which I'm not calling Clayton Kershaw the ace just because I'm not giving up on him. I just think that the way he's played in recent years, it has declined. He's not the Clayton Kershaw that we used to all know and love. He's not the 2011 to 2014 Clayton Kershaw. He's Clayton Kershaw, but Clayton Kershaw can give you 6 or 7 innings in every start still.
Yeah. Do you happen to know if Dustin May's coming back this season?
Yeah, he is, but he's probably not going to be back until like after the All-Star break.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I have a lot of confidence in Dustin May, though.
As things line up right now, it looks like it's going to be Bueller, Kershaw, Urias, maybe.
Yeah, Urias will be in there. He got snubbed for the Cy Young Award, which I was not too pleased about.
What about Andrew Heaney or David Price or Anderson?
David Price is not going to be a starter. He's going to go to the bullpen. Tyler Anderson, who we got, I think is going to go to the bullpen. I think if Tony Gonsolin can stay healthy, he's definitely going to be a factor in our rotation. He just wasn't great last year because he was hurt, but I know that he can be good when he's healthy. He's not like a number one starter. He's just a good back-end starter.
And you think Heaney will be in the bullpen?
Heaney, if Dustin May was healthy, then I would not put Heaney in the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Because Andrew Heaney is not that great.
No, he's not good.
With Dustin May, there's a reason why he's going to be in the rotation for the time being. I hope he's not going to be in there for a whole season because Heaney's injury prone. He gives up a lot of long balls.
Lots of home runs, right? No, you're right.
And the Dodgers are looking to try to resurrect his career. Like he could be that next Robbie Ray in a way like Robbie Ray kind of resurrected his career in Toronto. But do I see that in Andrew Heaney? No. He was bad with the Angels and he was also bad with the Yankees.
Yeah, imagine if you guys still had Scherzer and Bauer still in your rotation.
Yeah, Bauer's on administrative leave.
He's all done.
So,
what do you think about Cody Bellinger? Do you think Cody Bellinger kind of turned things around? Do you personally think that? Or do you think
the thing is everybody goes through slumps. A lot of people here have given up on Cody Bellinger because of last year. The thing is he's working on adjustments, and baseball's a game of adjustments. And I have a lot of confidence in Cody heading into this season that he's going to be better than he was last year, but he's just not had a good spring training though. It's something that he's still trying to get used to, like his new mechanics at the plate. I don't think that I'm hoping it's not an issue heading into the season though, but I do expect big things from Cody Bellinger heading into this season.
Yeah. I'm just looking at your roster right now. Your infield just loaded. Freeman, Lux, Muncy, Turner, and the other Turner, right?
Are you talking about both Trey and Justin?
Yeah. That you can't get much better than that. I personally think Muncy's just going to be a monster this year. Right?
Max Muncy is not having a good spring right now. I saw the game today when the Dodgers took on the Diamondbacks. It started out good. It was a 2-0 lead, but the Diamondbacks just blew it way open in the 7th.
Who pitched for the Dodgers today?
It was Kershaw, but he only went 4 innings today.
Oh, okay.
So
how did he do?
I didn't even care. Clayton Kershaw, 4 innings, pitched around 40 pitches. Mm-hmm. But he did what he had to do. But the Dodgers are taking on the A's tomorrow in Cactus League play. Then they take on the Guardians again. I'm also looking forward to Thursday's game because I'm kind of want to anticipate when Corey Seager will go up against his old team.
Right. So let's take a look at your regular season kind of start to your season.
Yeah. So we'll talk about next Friday. My season starts. The Dodgers will be in Colorado to take on the Rockies. They'll play 3 with them off day on the 11th, and then they go to Minnesota for a quick 2-game series.
That's interesting. So
we actually play the Twins before you guys do.
Well, hopefully that you guys could give them a good smackdown before so that they come a little bit colder when I'll be there. but
Yeah, and then the Dodgers have their home opener with the Reds for 4,
oh, awesome.
and then they play the Braves for 3, and then Kenley will make his return to Dodger Stadium. And then Freddie Freeman's going to play against his old team, but it's
Yeah,
not. I can't wait for when he makes his return to Atlanta, because when the Braves come to LA to play the Dodgers, Freddie will get to play against his old team, but it's going to be at home.
yeah. No, that should be really
I
cool.
can't wait to see how the Atlanta Braves fans are going to welcome him back when the Dodgers go to Atlanta in June.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's not gonna be any love lost. Right? For a guy that's been kind of there for a long time.
But do you think the Braves are going to be a better team with Matt Olson?
Well, I mean, I think the Braves are still gonna be very solid. I think Olson's a very good bat.
Yeah, the
He
Braves have a ton of good hitters. I'll tell you that.
yeah,
And
I
then
mean,
their starting staff is really good.
yeah, no, they outside of like Freeman, like they have added have a lot of good pieces
I
still
can't
around
wait to
them.
see Ronald Acuna back. Ronald Acuna is going to be a big help to that Braves offense. I mean, he's not coming back right away.
I love Ronald Acuna. Fun fact, if you haven't remembered, if I told you or not, I was at Ronald Acuna's last AAA game in Rhode Island before he went to like the majors, and he never went back down ever since then. I had no idea who this guy was. All I just heard was Ronald Acuna, Ronald Acuna. I had no idea if this guy was any good. And then just all of a sudden, like he comes in the majors, and like now, like people just know him left and right. It's crazy. It's obviously a piece of special talent, great fun player to watch. I don't think I've ever seen him play live outside of that. Actually on like the Braves, but it's pretty cool. Kind of seeing a guy that from the minors kind of just step up and just absolutely just kill it.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyways, with that being said, here, when I was saying that the Dodgers start in Colorado next weekend, and I'm kind of telling you that I think the Dodgers, they should sweep the Colorado Rockies. This should be a 3-0 start for them.
Well, right, you want to get up early on in the season. You want to have a good start, but it's a long season, right? And you can't obviously lose sleep, right? I remember the Red Sox lost 3 games to the Orioles, and people were making it like the world was, coming to an end with this Red Sox team. And look what happened. They were 2 wins away from the World Series. It's great to have a great start, right? You want to kind of see April baseball. It's cold a lot of the times, but it's just kind of getting guys ready and um, kind of seeing, what teams are kind of doing well from the get go. It really is. Some teams really need the good starts, and other teams can kind of overlap it. Now, I personally think that the teams with the better starts to the season um, could take advantages of maybe sometimes in the second half where their stretches aren't as good. That they can kind of, I guess you could say it's kind of like a free pass in a way, to kind of be like, oh, like we haven't been playing well in the second half of the season, but at least the first half, we have a good amount of games we won to get us still to the playoffs. Because the biggest goal, Loro, is to make the playoffs, right? That's kind of your end goal, right? So you want to make sure that you're playing good baseball. Usually all the time, but that's just never the case. Baseball's an up and down game. You're gonna have your great moments, and you're gonna have your very, very bad moments, or you're just gonna be kind of inconsistent, right? You're gonna go through your ups. You're gonna have a good game. The next day can play great, have a walk off hit, and the next game get absolutely smoked and be like, what the heck just happened? That's a baseball game for you. It's very unpredictable. Um, and these teams obviously play in a series, right? So you play this team, if it's a 3 game series, a 4 game series, you play this team more than once. And if it's a division, you play them more than once, more than one series, right? So there's a lot to this as for the baseball season. But this is a very exciting time, right? I'm so happy to talk about baseball. And the fact is, like, we were sitting here about like 4 weeks ago talking about this lockout. It's like, get me over this stuff. Like, let's get to baseball, right? And
Yeah,
just,
when we said that, it was the time when we were still in football.
yeah, no. And obviously, football, we love football, but obviously, football had to kind of take its course, to the side now because we're getting to this point, right? That we're getting almost to the Final Four. Once the Final Four is kind of done, March Madness, which, by the way, I hope you get the chance to watch on Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe we could
It
do like a
is.
final. Maybe we could do like a little Final Four post game show, or like something with you and Isaiah and maybe James. That would be a lot of fun after the fact, and kind of preview like our
Who's going to be winning the national championship? I
championship.
still have Duke.
That'd be a lot of
I
fun.
still have Duke winning it all.
Yeah, no, we obviously can kind of like make a little picks or something, but obviously after that, so it's all baseball, right? It's kind of the start.
Yeah,
To,
and then my Lakers are pretty much done.
yeah, no, I obviously I troll you guys at the Lakers. It's all fun and games because I love you guys. So, but yeah, for the Celtics and Bruins, I know the Celtics lost today, but they had four of their guys out. Robert Williams, if you're not aware, Loro, kind of our best big man, is out with a torn meniscus. So as much as things have gone great for us as of the last couple weeks, that's a huge loss. And we I think overall, and I know we're kind of going a little tangent here, but just keep it back in the swing of things. I personally think the Celtics and the Bruins, with great seasons, kind of overlap. The Patriots' disappointment in the off season, because at least we know that the Celtics and Bruins are kind of fans are keen eye on for Boston. So the Red Sox coming up soon. It's a lot of fun, exciting times in Boston, and looking forward to seeing how the playoffs go. Actually, Loro, too. I was thinking about this when I'm going to be going to the Red Sox game. Um, in Boston. We'll see in terms of the Celtics. We'll have a game in Boston right around that. Obviously, the city's going to be buzzing because it's going to be actually be one Boston day that day I'm going. It's also going to be Jackie Robinson day the day I'm going. So it's going to be a huge fun day. Just hope the weather's good. That's all I ask. I paid it's going to be, like I said, a great fun day. But the Yankees Red Sox too. That's going to be New York, and I'll definitely get my way up to seeing the Yankees Red Sox in New York for sure this year. Because
You could, but anyways, we got to talk about some bad news for the Giants here. Evan Longoria is undergoing finger surgery. How big of a blow is that for the Giants?
Yeah, well, I didn't know about that, so that's obviously news to me. But yeah, Longoria could still play. He could still kill it, right, with this team. He, I think, had a very underrated year last year. I haven't really seen.
If you talk about the Giants, you think that the Giants will still keep up with the Dodgers and the Padres and the NL West, and you think the Giants are going to be a good team, even though
I do.
I don't like them as a Dodger fan. I totally dislike the Giants.
Yeah, no, Evan Longoria, I think personally, he's still a very good player. I mean, he terrorized Red Sox for many years with the Tampa Bay Rays, but he still has it. He's still he's 36 years old, so he's still, kind of, I don't say his prime years, but he still has it in him. He batted 261 last year, at 66 hits. 253 is not bad at all, average-wise for a third baseman. So, yeah, it's a pretty big blow for them kind of start, but it seems like he's going to be back. So, whoever will take over for him in the meantime probably will do a good job for the Giants. The Giants should be fine. I know that they kind of had a disappointing year on their standings last year, but they went head to head at the end with the Dodgers, and
they gave the Dodgers a series last year,
they gave the Dodgers a very good.
Do you think the Giants are still going to be a great team? They got a good lineup. Their pitching is going to be very good. I like Logan Webb, even though I don't like the Giants. Logan Webb's a guy I like.
Yeah, no, Logan Webb's a very good pitcher. I don't know how much they have outside of Logan Webb. I know Johnny.
No, you have him. I think Rodon. I think is gonna really elevate himself as a number 2 starter. I think he will. I think Alex Cobb is okay. I guess Alex Wood is good, but they got Matthew Boyd. But Matthew Boyd's going to be on the injured list.
Mm-hmm.
And DeSclafani had a good year last year, but there's the Dodgers, have DeSclafani's number. DeSclafani pitches bad against the Dodgers, but against other teams, he does well against other teams that are not the Dodgers.
Yeah, well, you could say that for a lot of pitchers against the Dodgers, the way their offense is, to be fair. But the Giants, I think, have a very decent rotation. A lot of kind of guys after Rodon, they're kind of hit or miss.
Are you talking about guys after Rodon and Webb? Those guys are hit and miss.
Yeah, I mean, Cobb has shown in the past. I mean, they have very good viable options, right? But they're not obviously guys that are just going to be like, oh wow, like we got to really worry about them. Cobb is a very decent, number three. Wood, same thing, decent number three, and Jessica Fani had a pretty good season last year, but you're not expecting to kind of him, kind of do what he did last year. So, we'll see.
And then talk about the Arizona Diamondbacks extending Ketel Marte to a 5-year deal. And I'll tell you, Ketel Marte, I think the Diamondbacks are going to build their next winning team around Ketel Marte because he's still that talented of a ball player. What's your thoughts on Ketel Marte getting that extension?
Yeah, good for them. The Diamondbacks obviously aren't, in win-win mode right now, but he's a guy that, could keep tickets going for fans to go out to games. Marte's a very good hitter, good switch hitter. Obviously, he's been in trade speculation for a couple of years, but they now keep him for the future, and I think that he's a very good bat for them and can do a lot of good things well. Hit it for power, can run, get hit for contact, so it's a good piece for them. And obviously, the Diamondbacks obviously paid him enough to keep him around for the next couple of years.
Also, talk about Madison Bumgarner's contract has not turned out. That turned out being a really bad contract. He's turned out to being a bust for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah, no, Mad Bum obviously, he's shown in the past that he's been one of the best pitchers in baseball. Obviously, the Giants, he had a lot of good success there, winning a couple of World Series titles. But obviously, going to Arizona, he hasn't really been the same. Yes, he has had some arm problems in the past, but maybe just a change of scenery can get him going again. I think that there is some left in the tank for Mad Bum, but
if he gets traded, he's not going to cost much.
No, he wouldn't cost much. I think that a team maybe could pick up his contract, but things haven't really worked out for the Diamondbacks and Mad Bum as of right now.
And we got to talk about this. This player is coming home to St. Louis. He reunites with Yadier Molina and Adam Wainwright, in which will likely be the last dance in Cardinal Nation. And we got to talk about Albert Pujols returning home to the St. Louis Cardinals. And I'm going to tell you, fans there of the St. Louis Cardinals are rejoicing. They are partying outside of Busch Stadium that they are so thrilled to have their Albert Pujols back.
Yeah, no, it's obviously you look at this, it's kind of like the Patriots ever brought Brady back for another season. It's just kind of like that feel, like how much like he meant to that organization for so long, right?
And he has meant so much to the Cardinals. I've only seen him play live once. I mean, a couple times, one with the Dodgers. And I mean, I enjoyed Albert when he was a Dodger last year, but St. Louis is where he should finish his career, like with Dave Robertson, and I totally agree.
Right. No, it just fits right. You look at guys that have played a couple places for most of their career and just the place that they kind of call home. Pujols is kind of the guy that's shown that. He's been in the league for so long. I thought maybe he could be done at this point in his career, but he just keeps on going. And my respect level for him just goes through the roof, going back to his own home. I think he's going to do really well there, even though he's a little bit older in age. And Loro, another note with Albert Pujols is they're actually playing the Red Sox at Fenway on Father's Day weekend. The Cardinals are. So that's obviously possibly a Father's Day present I might have in mind, is to bring my dad up to Fenway to see Albert Pujols.
Yeah, that would be good. If you look at the Cardinals lineup now, I'm looking at it. Where I think Pujols is going to be in the lineup, I'm going to put him as the DH for the Cardinals.
Yep.
I'm going to have him hit 5th in my projected lineup for the Cardinals.
I think he should definitely get playing time, right? It's his last season. Get him out and get some at-bats this season. I think
I'm looking at the Cardinals lineup. They have Edmund leading off, Goldschmidt hitting second. I don't agree with Goldschmidt hitting second. O'Neill hitting third, Arenado 4th. I would put Pujols 5th, and then Yadier Molina 6th, and then 7th, I would put and DeYoung is hitting 8th. That's a good move there, and then Harrison Bader 9th. And I don't agree with Dylan Carlson hitting 5th. Carlson should be at the top of the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of go different ways with that lineup, right? But I think Pujols and Yachty kind of being back to back be so cool to kind of having a
That's what
line.
I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I have
and
for my Cardinals lineup, I have Dylan Carlson as the leadoff hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Edman hitting second. Then I have Tyler O'Neill hitting third. And then my 4 hitter would be Paul Goldschmidt.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I think that would be awesome.
I put Arenado 5th, and then 6th I put Albert Pujols.
Mm-hmm.
And then Yadier Molina 7th. And then Paul DeJong 8th and Harrison Bader 9th. That's how I would do it. Because I want the Cardinals lineup to feature Pujols and Molina back to back.
Yeah, I totally agree, Loro. I definitely think that would be awesome for them.
And you got to talk about with the rotation for the Cardinals, you're not going to have Jack Flaherty for the first 3 months, and that is such a big blow to the Cardinals.
Huge. I mean, he's your ace. You know, he obviously
he's a young ace, but if you had to choose who do you think's going to start opening day, it should be Adam Wainwright.
It should.
It's only fitting. It's his final year, like Pujols, like Pujols, and like
Molina,
and like Molina, and my MLB The Show League, I would put Jack Flaherty as the day 2 starter and put Wainwright 1, so that you have your big 3 out there on opening day.
That'll be awesome. I mean, if Flaherty was healthy, though, you had to put him at 1, right? You know, he's a lot younger. As much as I would love to kind of see that Wainwright number 1, Wainwright's only going to be number 1. What's that?
I meant for the last time to have him start on opening day for the Cardinals, because I want to see the big 3 out there for the Cardinals play together on opening day.
Like I said, I don't take away from any of your personal argument there. I think that'd be awesome to see. I just think that Wainwright would only really kind of get that number 1 spot if something happens to a guy like Flaherty, which unfortunately in this case he does, and which he has an injury that's going to cause him off for a couple months. You know, so obviously Wainwright will get the chance to kind of have his last dance kind of open up. You know,
so the Cardinals, their first game of the season, they're going to play 3 with the Pirates, and I'm telling you, it's going to be a sellout crowd there at Busch Stadium, because the crowd is going to be going bananas. They're going to be going crazy when they see Albert Pujols back in the Cardinal uniform.
Yeah, no, I think every game in St. Louis would be a lot of fun. I personally, that's a bucket list place I want to go see is St. Louis. That just seems like it's a really fun place to go see. It sounds like the fans are pretty good there too. So, yeah, that should be a really fun atmosphere, I think, especially with Pujols now kind of announcing it's his last dance. That's hopefully what I want to hear from Brady this season, right? I know he has a lot more left in the tank, but I think
that's another subject for another day when we talk about Brady and his last dance here when it's football. But this is Albert Pujols. Albert Pujols, I think this is his last year. And one of my takes for you is, can he reach 700 home runs this season?
Well, my question to you is, where is he right now?
Let's take a look. Albert Pujols. Albert Pujols is I think he's going to DH every day. That's what I think. Now that he's a Cardinal, and I predicted that he would return to the Cardinals, because I think that as much as I wanted him back with the Dodgers next year, I think that the Cardinals are more his home.
Well, I think that he can get 700 home runs career.
He is right now at 679.
If he plays like every day, he will.
I think he's going to be the DH every day.
We'll see. I mean, I don't know exactly. I haven't really seen their roster outside. You know.
No, I mean, here's the thing. I think that Goldschmidt's going to start at first. I think Pujols will DH.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Pujols is going to get along with guys like Dylan Carlson, Paul DeJong, Tyler O'Neill, Harrison Bader. I think he's going to be a great mentor to those guys who I mentioned that are young, relatively young, that still need to get to know the game of baseball.
No, the Cardinals should be a really fun team. They got a lot of veteran pieces. They got a lot of young.
Winning the NL Central, I still have the Milwaukee Brewers.
I'm going to go Cardinals. I really think that they have a very good ride ahead of them this year. But I do think the Brewers are going to be right there. You know, they can win the division. I really think that the Brewers have proven already that they got a 3-headed monster with Woodruff, Peralta, and Corbin Burns. So, you know, they're obviously going to be right up there. And but I think between the Cardinals, the Brewers are going to be the other team too to kind of watch out for.
Yeah, and also talk about here's kind of my hot take is I should have, I'm going to tell you that I didn't think that the Cardinals should have not fired Mike Schilt. That was a bad move by the Cardinals to fire Mike Schilt after that one game wild card round.
Yeah, no, I even forgot about that. I do remember that they moved on from Mike Matheny, but yeah, Mike Schultz was for sure, I thought, a pretty decent manager for them. So I'm a little surprised why he got moved on from them. But as they say in baseball and in sports, business is business, and sometimes you got to make tough decisions that might not always be the right ones. And I think that whoever is now taking over should
That is
help them.
Oliver Marmol. That's the manager of the Cardinals, who I think is going to do a great job.
Yeah, so I mean, with all the pieces that he still has now there, I mean, I don't think that they're going to really lose much of a step, especially kind of the way that I kind of see that division kind of still shaping out. The Reds obviously are rebuilding, the Pirates are rebuilding, the Cubs still have a lot of work to do. So I think between the outside of the Brewers, there's not really much of a team out there that I think that can really kind of give the Cardinals a huge threatening push.
I think it's the National League Central is going to run through the Brewers and the Cardinals here.
Agreed.
Also, we have some news to talk about here from the Toronto Blue Jays is that their pitching coach, Pete Walker, is arrested with DUI. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, that's not too promising for their organization, right? They're obviously their coaching staff is trying to get guys ready for opening day in a couple weeks. So, any type of thing off the field, you obviously have to kind of move on with a grain of salt. But some things, it could definitely hurt quite a bit in the locker room. Obviously you have to get as many guys as you possibly can, and to kind of hear that, which obviously, Loro, that's the first time you told me about that. That's obviously very unfortunate to hear. You don't want to get into situations like that at all. So we'll see how things turn out with that. It's obviously something to kind of monitor. But personally, I think that the Blue Jays will kind of obviously see what they have. Really, they have a very good pitching staff overall. So I think really that it's going to be kind of up to the pitching coach to kind of get his act together and see what type of punishment that he's going to be taking.
Now we'll talk about Michael Conforto. I mean, he remains unsigned at this point right now. Do you still think the Padres should sign him, or do you think that he should go to the Rockies?
I got to tell you one thing about Michael Conforto in terms of where he's going. I have no idea at this point in time what the heck's going on with him. I remember last week.
Look, the Padres just traded for someone with the Dodgers. That's Matt Beatty. He's now a Padre, and you could see him starting in left field now.
I did not know that either. Loro, you've been giving me some new information in the last 5-10 minutes, which I love to hear. But anyway, I personally think that this could definitely be an interesting move for any type of ball club with Michael Conforto. If they need some outfield help, give him a call. This guy obviously is not the same guy last year that he used to be, but I personally think that he could play a decent glove. He has a decent arm. Can hit for power to all fields. So get Michael Conforto on the call and let's make a deal with some team, or else. First, he's not going to have a choice to go back to a place where a person didn't think he wanted to go back, and that was the Mets. Because I think the Mets, they kind of offered him a huge deal, and he turned it down. So it sounds like he just doesn't want to be there anymore. He wants a new fresh start. But, I mean, if there's nobody that's taking him kind of at this point in time, even Tommy Pham has signed a new team. That's with the Reds. So
yeah, Tommy Pham will help in some way, but the Reds are not going to be good, though.
No. The fact that Tommy Pham is kind of below Michael Conforto in terms of free agency overall last remaining ones, and Conforto still has not been signed. Who knows what the situation is? Michael Conforto, he's had some injury problems in the past. I guess you can say that, but not a whole lot. He's a good teammate overall. He's a good clubhouse guy. So, I mean, I don't know what to really expect. The Mets obviously have a really good outfield already, between Marte, Nimmo, and trying to remember the other guy they had up there. Maybe Canna, per se.
Mark Canna is now a New York Met, but let's talk a little bit about the Royals here. I mean, Zach Greinke back with the Royals. Here's my hot take on him. I think he's going to be the opening day starter for the Royals.
I mean, Royals have a lot of work to do, right? They're rebuilding. They got some interesting.
No, I like a lot of their players. They have a talented group of young veteran players. Some guys from their 2015 World Series team. But like you said, they are still rebuilding. Whit Merrifield, I expect big things out of him. My Dodgers even play the Royals this year. Around my birthday weekend, they do. But also, they have a former Red Sox favorite of yours, and Andrew Benintendi, who I think the Red Sox should have never traded, but I think that he's going to be great for them. And also Salvi Perez. Other than that, the Royals, they're probably not going to be that great to begin with. I think Minnesota right now is ahead of the Royals.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the Royals just don't have pitching. They have a couple guys. Salvi's obviously a fun player. Benintendi, obviously, I miss and love. But, they just don't have really a lot, going for them, really, right? You just look at just kind of that division and just the talent overall, the Royals are just not in that stratosphere.
They have some good players, like Merrifield.
Merrifield's a great player, too.
Who I wish the Dodgers should get, because Whit Merrifield's a great hitter. You could play him not only at second base, you could play him in the outfield.
Merrifield's a good hitter. I've always wanted him as a Red Sox, a good table setter. But now with this fact we have Story, we don't really have to worry about now who we need at second base anymore.
Yeah, and then talk about the White Sox here. Do you have any thoughts on Joe Kelly going there? Your Red Sox are still going to see him, though.
No, I mean, I think Joe Kelly really helps that White Sox pulping a lot. They have Ryan Tepera moved on, so that's kind of their feeling. Tepera went to the Angels, if I can recall. So Tepera is a very good pitcher. I really wanted Tepera. That's another story for another day. So you have Kelly, you have
Hendricks, and
right?
Lucas Giolito.
Yeah,
Giolito's the ace of the starting staff. I'm talking about the White Sox having such a deep bullpen.
Yeah,
I love watching that team. They're a fun team to watch, but there are some controversies last year, such as Yerman Mercedes swinging at 3-1 when Tony La Russa told him not to.
Right. Yeah, the White Sox, I think, they're a very good team for what they kind of have in their division. They're kind of just the big club out of the division. It's the biggest question is, can they compete with the other teams kind of around, right?
I like Tony La Russa. I think when the White Sox fired Rick Renteria, they needed a manager that can help them win now. And I think Tony La Russa has that experience. He has those attributes to be a winning manager. And I felt like that this was good for him to come out of retirement.
I 100% agree. I think La Russa's – a lot of people are kind of questioning about that hire, but I think he's done a pretty good job there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've always been a fan of old school managers like La Russa, Baker, Buck Showalter, who I really think is going to do a phenomenal job with the New York Mets. I think the Mets are going to win the division because of him, and he has a good roster to work with.
Right. No, I like Buck Showalter in that hire too.
So, anyways, let's talk about as we wrap up on our top 5 outfielders and DHs heading into this season. We're wrapping up our top 5 by position here. So let's start with our top 5 left fielders, since we did infield last time. So my number 1 left fielder is, I can basically put him as a DH with the Philadelphia Phillies, but he has power, he has pop. He's going to be great with the Phillies. He's going to fit well at Citizens Bank Park. He and Bryce Harper are going to be complementing each other well in the lineup. That's Kyle Schwarber. Number 2, I have this guy was a rookie in 2021, but in 2020 he played a big factor in the 2020 ALCS, which led him to be the ALCS MVP for the Tampa Bay Rays. And this guy is going to continue to get better and better each and every year. I can't wait to see him grow as a really good ball player for the Tampa Bay Rays. That is Randy Arozarena. Number 3, I miss him being a Dodger, but he's now on the dark side of the Dodgers and Giants rivalry. I think he's going to do great things for them. I think he's going to be a great addition to their lineup. I think watch out for him hitting long balls into the McCovey Cove. That's Jock Peterson. But I'm going to say this. No relation to Doug Peterson, though. Because they both have the same last name, though. But we get to talk about a Peterson a lot in football and baseball. Jock, and then we talk about Doug when we do football.
Yep.
Number 4, he's the reason why the Arizona Diamondbacks are decent offensively. That's David Peralta, who I still think can get it done.
Mm.
And number 5, he's got it. When he's good, he's healthy. And you talk about that yelly belly debate in 2019 when they were toe to toe for that MVP race.
Mhm.
I think since he's gonna be fully healthy this year, I think he's gonna have a monster season. That is Christian Yelich.
Mm. All right, so mine I have Arozarena. I think that's a very good pick. Let me see here.
It's the category is left fielders.
Yep. Luis Gurriel Jr. I think is a very good pick. Mark Hanna from the Mets. Eloy Jimenez. I think it'd be a really good pick. Marcelo Ozuna.
Ozuna's now going to be a DH now.
Yeah.
He's not an outfielder.
Michael Brantley. I think he's one of the most underrated hitters out there. He plays left field. And then Christian Yelich.
You have Christian Yelich, number 1.
Yep.
Now let's go to center fielders now. Number 1 for me, I think that it's time for the Angels to start putting together winning seasons. And I say that because you have Rendon, you have Shohei, and then this player right now, he could still play center field, even though that he's getting up there at age, he could still hit. But maybe he might need a position change in the outfield at some point. Maybe play right or left field so that he doesn't wear out too much. That's Mike Trout.
Yep.
Number 2, the reason why I think he's in the lineup every day is because of his glove. A bad offensive year last year, but I'm really confident that he is going to bounce back offensively this year because when he's right, he's a 30 or 40 home run hitter, and that is Cody Bellinger. Number 3, I don't think he needs to. I don't envision this guy playing right field. He's more of a center fielder to me on the Atlanta Braves. And with Freddie Freeman gone, he's going to be one of the pillars of the Braves franchise, and that is Ronald Acuna Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, are they going to build the next team in Pittsburgh with this guy in center field? You have Keith Brian Hayes that I think the Pirates are going to build their next winning team around. But this guy has been rumored in trade talks. But you know what? If I were the Pirates, you need to be patient with this guy, and that is Brian Reynolds.
Good pickup.
And number 5, I think this player right here is already the everyday center fielder for the Chicago Cubs, the Northsiders. I think that he is I think that when he's healthy, he is one of their best hitters on the team. And you put him in an outfield with Jason Hayward, Jay Hay. But Hayward is not known for his bat, but he's known for his glove. And that is Ian Happ.
Okay.
What are your top 5 center fielders?
All right, mine. I'm gonna go a couple guys. So number 10, I'm gonna go Ketel Marte.
Are you talking about 5?
I'm gonna go maybe more than 5. We'll say Ketel Marte, Brian Reynolds. One of my favorite guys, Loro, if you want to remember, Cedric Mullins, my guy from Baltimore. I'm telling you, he plays an elite glove. He's a great hitter. Nothing about him I don't love. George Springer. I think George Springer is a very good center fielder.
Probably is going to be moving to right field now that Ramel Tapia is there.
How about this guy? Byron Buxton. I think Byron Buxton.
Missed him. I mean, the reason why I didn't put him on there is because of his health.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that when Byron Buxton's healthy, he's not only a good hitter, he's great defensively.
Really good defensively, yep. And then Mookie Betts, if he plays center field, which he could play center, but
more of a right fielder.
More of a right field, yeah. And then let me see. Oh yeah, Mike Trout.
Yeah, from the Angels, and I'm very confident that the Angels are going to win the AL West. I say that because I don't like the Astros, though, but realistically, the Astros are still the better team in the AL West, without Correa, though.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
But I just didn't like all that cheating scandals that they've gone through.
Trust me, I don't like him either.
Yeah, especially the sign stealing scandal with the Dodgers, and Cora got suspended for that. Not with the Red Sox, but it was his involvement with the Astros.
Yep.
So it was 4, 3, 2, and 1 for your center fielders.
Oh, I kind of mentioned just a couple. I didn't kind of go through by order. I had uh, I had Kendall Marte, Brian Reynolds, Cedric Mullins, George Springer, Starling Marte, Byron Buxton, um, Mike Trout, um, Ramon Laureano's I think a very good one.
I did not put Buxton on my top 5 center fielder list is because of it's about his ability to stay healthy.
Yep.
So now,
Another one too, Lorenzo Cain.
ooh, he has the same name as me, but Lorenzo Cain, he's getting up there in age, but he can still hit though. He's not known for power.
Yep.
He's known for defense. He makes entertaining catches in center field though.
Mm-hmm.
Now for my top 5 right fielders. Number 1, you missed this guy too so much. That's Mookie Betts of my Los Angeles Dodgers. Number 2, it's from Isaiah's Philadelphia Phillies. He was the NL MVP last year. And you know, Ben, Isaiah has 2 teams, the A's and the Phillies.
Yep.
And was that?
Yeah, no.
And that is Bryce Harper.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, he's probably going to be moving to DH, but I think Charlie Blackmon could still play right field. And number 3 for me is Charlie Blackmon. Number 4, you could put him either in left or right. I think the Nationals are going to build their next winning team around this guy. He's eventually going to get a big extension with the Nationals. I think that he has a high ceiling in front of him, and I think that he is going to have a great year. I'm looking forward to watching him play when it comes to him playing against my Dodgers pretty much twice a year, and that is Juan Soto. Number 5, you should have never traded this guy. I used to see him play all the time against my Dodgers when he was a Padre. The guy has a thunder in he has a lot of power in his bat, but the dude strikes out way too much. That is Hunter Renfroe.
All right, mine are gonna go as follows: Mike Yastrzemski.
Oh, the grandson of Carl Yastrzemski.
Yep. Brandon Nimmo, Teoscar Hernandez, Kyle Tucker, Acuna Jr., Aaron Judge, Bryce Harper, Mookie, and Soto.
I'm actually changing my 3 from Blackmon to Aaron Judge.
Mm-hmm.
Because Aaron Judge, I think he's going to get a contract extension with the Yankees like we talked about earlier, because you and I are going to be talking about the Yankees a lot on our baseball shows since they're your rival.
I know.
So I think that and Hunter Renfroe, you should have not traded him though, but you know the Brewers are getting a great defensive outfielder in him and a great and a guy that could hit for power.
Yeah, Renfroe was a really fun player with us for that year.
And then let's go to DH's top 5 designated hitters. You better be ready for this. Number 1, for me, he was the AL MVP last year. The guy's already named opening day starter. And the dude could do it all. Pitch and hit. That is Shohei Ohtani.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, I mean, I was kind of thinking that he would go back to the Texas Rangers, but I think he's going to be a really good asset and leader to that young Washington Nationals team, and that is Nelson Cruz. Number 3, this guy's really good. I mean, I like this guy. I mean, I think that the Tampa Bay Rays won the Chris Archer trade from the Pirates, and the Rays are really stacked with prospects. And I'm going to say Austin Meadows is my 3rd best designated hitter.
Yeah.
Number 4 for me is from your Boston Red Sox. I've always liked the guy. I mean, he was only in my division one year when he was a member of the Arizona Diamondback, because the Diamondbacks got this player from the Detroit Tigers. If you know who I'm talking about, that is J.D. Martinez.
Yes, sir.
Who I think is going to have a great year for you guys, as always.
Hope so. I love JD.
And number 5, the guy made headlines when it came to that 3-1 swing. But I like the guy too. I think that he's going to have a great year, and that is the Yerminator, Yermin Mercedes. I call him the Yerminator.
Yep.
So who are your top 5 DHs
All right. I have Trey Mancini. I have Max Muncy. He can DH.
Muncy is not really a DH. He plays more second base, third base, very versatile on the Dodgers infield or wherever you put him.
Yep. I have Nelson Cruz. Kyle Schwarber can DH, even though he's probably not going to DH a lot. Franmil Reyes, Giancarlo Stanton, JD Martinez, and then you missed a really good player, Yordan Alvarez from the Houston Astros.
I snubbed him.
And then Shohei.
Yeah, I love Shohei. But anyways, we have time for one more. Is our top 5 mascots. I mean, I did this last night on the night shift, but I'm going to tell you my top 5 mascots. Number 1, this is one of my favorite mascots of all time. He taunts visitors at every Philadelphia Phillies games, and he makes me laugh. He could dump candy on people's heads. He dumps candy on Tom McCarthy on the Phillies broadcast. That is the one and only, the Philly Fanatic.
Yep.
And you got to love the Fanatic because that guy right there, he knows how to make fans happy, but he also loves to taunt people.
Yeah, no, I've never had the chance to go to Citizen Bank yet, but I've always wanted to try to visit there.
He will also bump you with his big belly. He's got a big horn nose.
Yeah.
Number 2, I love this duo of mascots. That is Mr. and Mrs. Met from the New York Mets.
Yep.
Number 3, that guy slides down on the slide every time a Milwaukee Brewers player hits a home run. And that is Bernie Brewer. That's at American Family Field. If you ever been to that ballpark, every time a Brewers player hits a home run, it's Bernie Brewer that slides down his slide and he waves the Brewers flag. Number 4, this is from your Boston Red Sox. I know if you like him and if you love monsters, it's Wally, the Green Monster. He froze Ben here. You heard me? I said number 4 for me is Wally, the Green Monster.
Oh, great. I love to hear that. Sorry, I had a little bit of connection right there.
No worries. I was saying that I like Wally the Green Monster because I think Wally the Green Monster is fun. I mean, he kind of looks like a Sesame Street character.
I love Wally.
And then number 5, I met this mascot once. He's the Washington Nationals mascot. His name is Screech, the Eagle, the Washington Nationals mascot.
All right. So I'm gonna have to think about my favorite mascots now. I like the Tampa Bay Rays mascot, Raymond.
Raymond the Ray.
Yeah, I like Wally, obviously. Mr. and Mrs. Met. The Indians, the Guardians mascot.
Yeah, I wonder what their mascot's going to be now. It's the Guardians.
Yeah. I like the Brewer mascot. That one's cool. The Reds have a really cool mascot. Let me think. Yeah, that's really the only ones I'm thinking. Maybe the Pirates too.
That's the bird mascot too. And you also have to don't forget about the Padres mascot who looks like Fred Flintstone.
Yeah.
Who because Fred Flintstone and that Padres mascot are pretty much the same here. So anyways, here's some final thoughts and announcements. So our next show will be next Wednesday, where Ben and I will be previewing opening day. And we're also going to be ranking our top 5 insiders of baseball. Be ready for that. The insider category, who we love. Like examples such as Con Rosenthal, Tom Verducci, JP Morosi, Jeff Passan, Buster Olney. Those are the guys I love. So I can't wait to see your list for that next week of top 5 insiders. And also our top 5 skippers heading into this season.
Cool.
That's going to be all next week. And anyways, that's going to do it for this week in baseball. For Ben Kirst, Loro Antonio signing out for now. Have a great night. And Ben, I'm going to see you next Wednesday for more baseball. And we're going to be talking a lot about opening day next week.
Can't wait for it, my friend. Thanks a lot for having me once again. Another great week of baseball talk, and looking forward to next week as the crunch of spring training is almost over, which I love to hear because then we get to some real baseball. That means a lot, and that for me brings big happy face to myself. So I'm
Me
really
too.
excited for that. Yeah,
Very excited for that. But anyways, we're gonna.
really perfect, man. So you have a great rest of your evening, Loro. And I'll see you soon.
Yep, we'll see each other sometime next week, but we'll might do Loro and Friends sometime this week to kind of talk about the whirlwind of NFL news when it comes to Matt Ryan and Tyreek Hill. We got to set that up.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Thanks for having me once again.